Hello, good evening, and welcome to Final Boss Fight. I think that's my thing now, doing this stretched out arms and coming in like that. John does his like hello, 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 hello. I think this is my way of doing it. Anyway, my name is Jeff, and I will be the keeper of Arcane Lore for this evening, also known as the Keeper. And I am joined by our regular crew of intrepid investigators, I should say. We have Patrick.
Hello, I'm Patrick, playing Gideon Faust, socialite and photography nerd.
We have Ben, the quest giver.
Hello, I am Ben, and I am going to be playing tonight Denver Smith, ex-army pad, an injured chap on the field under a lot of dosage.
We have Brian.
Hello, I'm Brian, and I'll be playing Tim Sullivan, archaeologist.
Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin, and I'll be playing Flintlock, who is a bit of a wild man and big game hunter.
And last but by no means least, Kieran.
Hello, I'm Kieran. I'm going to be playing Professor Eckhart Nett. He is a psychology professor at the Miskatonic University, and he doesn't believe in any of this nonsense.
Thank you very much. So, let's begin. So, 3 years ago, you, part of investigators, along with Dr. Reinhard Bauer, not Professor Eckhart Metz, but Reinhard Bauer. Before I do that, I'm going to read this out. I wonder if it's possible to annoy Jeff as much as I annoyed John. I suppose this question came to me a long time ago. Well, not that long ago. In fact, just I beat up the Twitch and they told me I've been something for 33 months. I mean, fancy that, 33 months. You can do a lot with 33 months if given the right opportunity and a few lucky peeps and plenty of hard work and harder playtime. But I digress. Is it possible to annoy Jeff as much as John? I mean, it's a question. It's a long time, huh? And that is the recap for this evening. Thank you very much, Ben, for subscribing for 33 months. So, a party of intrepid investigators, similar to this party, in fact, most of this party, in 1921, helped Jackson Elias uncover well, it's not so much a cult, it's more of a group, or let's call it a cult, of vampire fat-sucking creatures. A hive, that's a good word, of vampire fat-sucking creatures in Peru. They eliminated the threat, and they got very wealthy out of it. You got some treasure out of it from the pyramid. For more details, please go and watch the previous 4 episodes because they are amazing, seriously, even though I do say so myself. But now it is 1923. It is 2 and a bit years, say 2.5 years since that fateful event. What have you all been up to in that time? Let's start with Robin. What has Flintlock been up to since 1921?
He's been definitely doing he's been kind of teaching himself how to dodge by getting into a lot of barroom brawls and not attacking back.
Nice.
And just basically, when he hasn't been doing that, trying to avoid the cities as much as possible.
Brian,
he's got a new Jaguar pelt which he's going to give to Denver Smith.
Oh yeah. Brian, what has Tim Sullivan been up to in the past 2.5 years?
Oh, he's been out and about. He's been home in Nova Scotia. He spent a good portion of 1922 in Egypt with one Howard Carter. May have met another certain individual, if you get my meaning.
Yep. Crossover, everybody.
No, Edward Beatty, not the Mummy.
Edward Beatty from the Horror on the Orient Express campaign.
Oh, cool.
And Ben, what has Denver Smith been up to these past 2.5 years?
Well, I tried to slow down for a bit and tried to write my first book. Denver Smith and the Buried Pyramid. But I'm struggling. I can't seem to get the words just right. Kind of lucky that our friends got back in touch again. Alright, it could be a divine judgment of some kind to let me go back and learn a little bit from a writing master.
And
well, at least it would be.
Patrick, what has Gideon Faust been up to?
Well, Gideon has been having quite a tough time of things in recent days. His return to London was not with the photographic evidence of the supernatural, was not met with the open arms and open minds which he may perhaps optimistically hoped for. His irrefutable evidence was derided by the wider scientific community, which rather caused him to storm from the city in outrage. He emigrated to New York, where he has opened a photography studio and continues to work on new photographic prototypes and is looking for further opportunities to document the unnatural.
Very good. And Kieran, tell us a little bit about Professor Metz.
Professor Metz is Dr. Bauer's significant person. He is from Berlin. He emigrated to America about a decade ago, in around 1913. He moved to America, specifically to Miskatonic, because he is fascinated by why people believe in things like ghosts and gods, and why do we have faith, basically, and why do we believe things that there is no real evidence for. So that's been the bulk of his research. The psychology department maybe just keeps him around as like, hey, see, we have a skeptic.
Brilliant. We're going to start with you, actually, Professor Metz, Professor Eckhart. It's probably a normal day in the Miskatonic University. You've got like your papers from your students to grade, and then in the mail, a telegram arrives, and I'm just going to show this to everybody. Professor Metz, would you be able to please read this out?
Urgent summons from R. Merriweather. Stop. Unable to attend in person. Stop. Please meet and give whatever assistance is required. Stop. St. Mary's Hospital, Arkham, 2nd of August. Stop. J.E. Which I think we can assume is Jackson Elias.
Similar telegrams have arrived at each of your houses, places where you're staying, accommodation, all from Jackson Elias, all asking you to meet this R. Merriweather at St. Mary's Hospital in Arkham. I didn't put it on here, but the time of the appointment is 1 p.m. That's the visiting hours at the hospital. So I shall move us over to the Arkham map. There's no locators for this. This is mainly just for visual reference. But the hospital, Mary's Hospital, is next to the university. So if you scroll down the bottom left-hand corner, you've got a close-up of Miskatonic campus, and St Mary's Hospital is next to the university. So,
oh my god, that's Lovecraft's face.
What makes the hill French?
Actually, that's good. That's a better observation than that's Lovecraft's face.
Two equally perplexing mysteries.
So, Professor Metz, you arrive at the hospital at the appointed hour, and you meet these 4 people you don't know. They obviously know each other, but you don't really know them. Probably that it's possible that Dr. Reinhard Bauer told you about his companions in Peru, and it's reasonable to assume that these are those companions.
I don't think I've met them, but I definitely recognise them. You the compatriots of Reinhardt, is that right?
Oh, you know Reinhardt. Gideon Faust, a pleasure.
He'll shake your hand. Professor Eckhart Metz. I imagine he probably mentioned me. He didn't.
I don't recall him doing so, but I'm certain it's not for a lack of affection.
No. What brings you here? I was asked to visit an old friend.
Well, I think we've all been asked to make a new one. Holds up a little telegram. I received this at my New York studio, and I decided to give it a little investigation.
And there I was thinking I was special. Pleasure to meet you all.
How the cursed thing ended up in my shack in the woods in the middle of nowhere, I have no idea.
Now that is a mystery.
It's
Then again, after all things we've seen, is that too far-fetched?
Is Flint wearing his Jaguar hood? He always wears it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, and he's handed the spare over to Denver.
Is he still in like full Peruvian survival gear?
Oh yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And you can see he's looking as grumpy and just nervous as he ever is when you're in a city. Or in civilization.
I didn't get you nothing.
You were eyeing up mine in our trips to Peru.
Oh, you saw that, eh? Well, I'll have to get you something pretty too. Oh.
As you all make your introductions to each other, a nurse arrives and says, "Oh, you must be here to see Mr. Merriweather. Could you follow me, please? I must ask you to please be quiet. He's not in a good way." And she leads you to a door. It's a private ward. She opens the door, and you look inside, and there's a single bed in the room with like a stand, a little cupboard. And in this bed, there's a rather stricken old man lying back, breathing, wheezing more, and coughing occasionally. Eckhart, you recognise this as Rupert Merriweather, your old university friend?
I imagine we tread in the same circles.
Of course, yep.
Hmm.
Also, in the room, holding his hand, you see a woman, looks to be in her 60s. Eckhart, you probably recognise her as his wife Agnes. And standing off in one corner near the door is, arms folded, man in his mid-30s. Again, you recognise his son Bertrand.
Sorry, what was his wife's name?
Agnes.
Agnes.
Agnes, and his son's name is Bertrand. The nurse opens the door and says, Excuse me, Mr. Merriweather, the visitors you asked for, they're here to see you. Rupert Merriweather opens his eyes and with difficulty lifts his head off the bed and... Ah, Metz, yes, thank you for coming. Please, please, come in, and your friend as well. Oh, I was hoping Jackson Elias would be with you, but I suppose he is off on one of his travels. Never mind, there is no time. Please, please, all of you, come in. My dear, would you please wait outside? I have some matters to discuss in private. Bertrand, I won't be too long. I'm sorry about this. And his wife, Agnes, stands up, still wiping tears from her eyes, and leaves the ward. Bertrand stands there for a moment, looking like he's going to stay there, but he just like grunts and also leaves. As he leaves, he shuts the door. As he leaves, he shuts the door behind him.
Mr. Merriweather, as you say, Jackson could not arrive in any expediency, but he sent us, his stalwart companions in the exploration of the unknown, to make sure that you could be properly attended to and spoken with.
Yes, yes. Thank you. It is good that you are here. I have a confession to make, and I've not been able to tell anybody else, but Jackson trusts you, and I guess that means I must trust you too.
I am as tight-lipped as any priest.
I suppose I'd better start at the beginning. When I was a young man, I had some fellow students. There were 6 of us, and we found a fascination with the occult, with the unknown, the mysterious, and one of us, a man named Marion Allen, he was our leader. He told us that we could research this, that we could find ways to find proof of this other world, this mysterious outer world. Between us, we pooled our resources and we purchased an old farmhouse a few miles near here, a place called Ross's Corners, and it was there we could safely conduct our research out of the way of prying eyes. But, and I shudder to say it, our work had unforeseen results. The last time we were out there, our last experiment, we summoned an evil force into this world. We should have tried to expel it, we should have tried to right the wrong, but instead we fled. We abandoned the old house. We thought that the magic that we had put in place to ward the house would keep the evil contained, but I've discovered that the spells that we put on the house, that Marion put on the house, only last as long as one of our group is left. I am the last of my fellows, and I know I am soon to die, and I fear that upon my death this thing will go free and wreak havoc upon the folks around here, maybe even as far as Arkham. But I cannot go back. As you see, I am too ill. I'm too old. I'm too much of a coward to go back to that house. I'm guilty of many things, my friends, but my deepest sin was unleashing that horror that fateful night. I'm convinced that once I am gone, the entity will escape its confinement. I know it is a lot to ask, but I must ask you to do what I could not, to go to the house and banish this entity. I have some aid I can offer you. In the cupboard down there, and he points to the bedside cupboard, is a box containing all the help I can offer. Please take it and banish this thing. Make sure our deaths are not in vain. You open the cupboard. You see a metal box inside, probably about a foot square, a foot cube. Just take it, please. Take it and use what you find inside.
Clint opens the box right there and then.
Be looking over your shoulder.
As you do so, you catch a quick glimpse of a golden sarcophagus, some books, a book and some papers, but As you open it, Merriweather starts coughing. A spasm takes him. He starts coughing a gout of blood. Flint, he coughs up blood, and as you're near him, it spews all over you. Can you make me a sanity roll, please, Flint?
Mm-hmm.
Good lord.
No sanity loss for that. But then he starts
Keep your
coughing more
Germans
and
to
more,
yourself, mate.
and more blood comes up, and he just like racks with pain and just like comes back, lies back on the bed, wheezing, breathing hard. He's finding it difficult to breathe now. And at this point, the door opens, and a doctor and a nurse and a couple of nurses come in, along with his wife, looking very distraught, and his son. I think it's a good time to leave, actually.
Hold on. I just want to ask one thing. You said you cast a spell. How did you cast that spell? What did you do?
He can't respond to you. He's busy. He's coughing and wheezing and not long.
Let's have no more talk of anything related around the soon-to-be grieving family. Let's.
Look, I appreciate what you're saying, but the other side of things, we have no idea what we're about to walk into. Actually, no, hang on a second. Sorry.
It's probably fine.
So I take it that you're some kind of expert then. Grand. Anything magic related, we'll point you at it.
I think whilst these guys are mumbling about spells and stuff, Nets is, saying goodbye to Rupert and, sort of saying to Agnes, like, oh, you'll have to come over for tea sometime soon and stuff. Just like, chatting with the family. And then possibly getting iced out, so.
As you are rather unceremoniously ushered out of the room, out of the hospital, you do spy a coffee shop nearby the hospital with looks like a good place to regroup and to gather your thoughts.
Yes, that looks ideal. Let's get ourselves a booth.
At least this time we haven't got nobody chasing us right now. Alright. Let's go there and
no jungle rations for us.
see what else happens to be inside that box.
So, as you sit down with coffee, tea, perhaps something stronger, you open the
Has his
box.
feet on the
This is a
table.
good cafe.
They know what they know
table.
exactly. They know exactly who their clientele are. But of course, you find out the whiskey is actually inside the coffee because, of course, this is prohibition and you can't openly serve alcohol. So you find it inside the. In fact, there is this thing that they called. I can't remember if it's about this time. I can't remember what they called them, but it's like these cardboard sandwiches because some places were able to sell alcohol as long as they sold food, and so they sold these like cardboard, plastic, really tough sandwiches. You wouldn't eat them. You only bought them so you could get the alcohol, and then you'd send the sandwich back, and they could resell it.
I wish you'd told me that before I took the bite.
He's eating his, and he's just like, I've had worse.
You open the box, and the first thing you see as you open the box is a folded letter. Who would like to read this one for me, please?
I can go for that one. Dear friends, in the years after the nightmarish events of that night in my youth, I have seen many strange things. Only now do I begin to grasp the truth of reality and the scope of what is happening in this world. I've tried in my small way to combat the horrors, make amends for my part bringing one to our plane of existence. What I have left to offer, what riches and wealth I have, I will put to good use in dealing with these abominations. It is the very least this old coward can do. I would never make myself go back to that old farmhouse. and put those events to rights. I too gravely feared that which my friends and I loosed upon this countryside. Nothing of consequences has yet taken place, but with my death I fear the bonds will be broken. A very horror free to come and go as it pleases lives not yet taken, already weigh heavy on my conscience. The method of delivering this thing out of this world is still in that accursed house. The translations made by Marion from that book, De Vermeus Mysterious. I was never strong enough to take on the task, but I have hope that you are. In ridding this world of this, perhaps you will save my soul from hell, for I fear that my deeds have not been enough to release me from this heavy burden. I do not expect your forgiveness. For one, I ask of you, Rupert Merriweather.
Also
Yeah.
bound. Sorry, Karen.
It is a pity, isn't it, the way that the ailing mind clings to whatever meaning it can give the world around them, even if it provides no comfort.
Oh.
Along with the letter, bound with the letter, you also find a deed to a farm property, Boone Road, Ross's Corners, which, as he told you, is a small village a few miles west of Arkham.
Is
You
the
also
town called Rotted Corners?
Ross's Corners, Ross's Corners.
Ah.
You also find this. A gold sarcophagus.
For baby pharaohs.
About a foot long. Covered on the outside with Egyptian hieroglyphs. The lid comes off quite easily, and there are strange carvings on the inside.
Well, don't open that. Ah, for God's sake.
How are we supposed to beat anything to death with this?
It is empty, however. Anybody who wishes to can make me, let's see, history, archaeology, or occult. History,
I have pretty good
archaeology,
occult.
or occult. Please make me an occult.
I have terrible all of those.
Nice. Tick
Oh,
those things.
that is a
Gonna
bad success. That is one under.
Well, Tim Sullivan. I'll take Tim Sullivan's success, and I'll take Eckhart's success. So, Tim, we'll start with you. The archaeology roll. You recognise this. The style of this. You said you've been out in the Valley of the Kings with Howard Carter. Lord Carnarvon.
Yeah.
You've seen something like this out there. You recognise these hieroglyphs. You're not quite sure what they say, but you've seen similar in the Valley of the Kings. They seem to relate to the Middle Kingdom.
Hmm.
You can't quite tell much more than that.
Here?
You can't quite tell much more than that, but yeah, you do. These are relating to the Middle Kingdom, perhaps the third dynasty of the Egyptian pharaohs. Possibly someone who knows more about the subjects may be able to shed more light on the matter.
Third Dynasty, Middle Kingdom. The first dynasty of the Middle Kingdom was a continuation of the 11th dynasty. I just looked this up and actually, what is? Oh yeah, Third Dynasty's Old Kingdom. Is that what it actually says in the book?
It is. Don't worry too much about it.
Oh my god!
It's possible that something may. It's possible that you do think that's strange, actually. But as I say, someone who may know more about it may be able to shed some light on the matter. Professor Metz, the occult role. Again, you've seen carvings on the inside. You've seen carvings like this before in some rather esoteric books. It seems to resemble writings attributed to the lost Pacific continent of Mu.
Oh.
Oh.
Again, they are completely incomprehensible to you. These just like you,
Yeah,
they remind you of what you've seen. Same with you, Tim.
it's all nonsense, but
They remind you of what you've seen, of course.
I also have a little bit of Latin. Could I see if I know what the vermis mysterious means? I assume
The
that's Latin.
strange
Sounds Latin.
Mysterious Verses, I believe that is. You have heard of this. This is a book that is held in Miskatonic's special collection.
Ah, okay.
Also in the box is a slim diary. And this one is quite a lengthy one, I'm afraid. This one covers a few pages. So, Flint, would you be able to read this one for us, please? As I say, there are a few pages to this.
Okay. February 27th, 1877. Marion Allen has acquired an artifact, purportedly Egyptian. It appears to be a small sarcophagus of gold. Inside is a large piece of amber, which entraps a specimen of some unknown species of arthropod. Allen is very excited as the box corresponds to a description he found in an ordinary reference volume in the university's
Orne Library.
Oh, yeah, okay. Allen says in another book, the Mysteris is an explanation of the powers of the box. The text says the small animal trapped in the amber is actually the host to a bound jinn, a guide to the spirit world. Allen says the tome mentions that originally there were 4 such pieces of amber contained in the box. There is no mention of what happened to the other 3. We are agreed, and a date has been set to conduct a ceremony intended to summon the jinn, which Allen assures us will be friendly. We have chosen the night of Saturday, 18th of March, the night before the new moon. March 19th, 1877. We began the ceremony as Allen instructed, according to that described in the Mysteris. A fire is set in the fireplace and a pentagram chalked on the floor, marked with the appropriate symbols and illuminated by 2 black tapers placed near the centre, flanking the piece of amber with its entrapped spirit. The others sit in a circle while I, the designated watcher who guards for malevolent spirits, sit in the corner of the room. At least I get the comfort of a chair, while the others can look forward to sitting on the floor for hours. Allen throws a handful of powder in the fire, producing an evil-smelling smoke and dampening the flames, which now burn a sputtering green and brown. Those seated on the floor begin the Latin chant Allen has transcribed from his book. After nearly 2 hours, I see a trail of smoke circling up from the piece of amber. Its surface seems to be bubbling and melting. Can this be? Have we finally achieved success? I can see a form.
Diary continues on page 2.
March 20th, 1877. We have finished with our plans and have sworn a pact never to speak of what happened last night. We have satisfactorily explained the death of poor Robert and, in some manner, the madness of Harold. The sheriff accepts the explanation of a carriage incident. We planned it well. Robert's neck was broken in the fall, we told him. Harold struck his head on a rock when the horse's leg broke and the carriage rolled. Would it be that it was only that? For the rest of us, we will forever be changed by what we experienced last night. I'll write down the true events so they're not lost completely. The thing that formed in the centre of the pentagram, shapeless and nearly invisible, its terrible voice should have given us a clue, but we were so foolish. It spoke, then Alan cast that damned powder on the jinn, the dust of Ibn Ghazi, he calls it, and that's when we could all see it clearly. Words cannot adequately describe the faceless thing that's through 1,000 moors. It ruled and bubbled, never fully revealing itself at any one time. So terrifying was its aspect that I was frozen in place, my pen falling from my nerveless fingers. Cecil and Alan seemed as lifeless as myself, with a short, sharp cry issued from Crawford's mouth. Robert, however, rose to his feet. Before anyone could stop him, stepped forward as though to embrace the horrible guest. With its arms, or those appendages that seemed almost like arms, it took hold of poor Robert and twisted his head around as if he were a doll. The lifeless corpse was then thrown back in Harold's lap, and that's when he began that damnable shrieking. The shrieking hasn't stopped since, even after we handed him over to the sheriff's men. We still had a chance, apparently. Alan now believes that if we had kept our wits, we could have reversed the summoning and forced the creature back to wherever it came from. But Crawford panicked and, mistakenly believing that it would dispel this creature, reached for us and destroyed part of the pentagram, breaking the seal and ended its effectiveness. Released from that binding symbol, the thing with a speech that could only have been unholy satisfaction was ejected from the house, disappearing out the window as a roaring, screaming wind of boiling colours.
Diary carries on to page 3.
You did say it was a lot. 24th of March, 1877. Alan intends to leave Arkham and travel to find a solution to this crisis. He said that he intends to seek out occult scholars in New Orleans. I pray he is successful, but my hopes are not high at this point. He insisted that I be custodian of the gold sarcophagus and not show it to anyone. What's even more odd is that he instructed me to not visit or even live in Boston. I can only guess as to why, as he will not tell me his reasoning apart from his insistence that it's for my own safety. Marion still thinks that the thing could yet be destroyed, or at least dispelled, but none of us who remain have the stomach for such an undertaking. I hope he can find a way to safely banish it without another of us falling into its malevolent grip. March 26, 1877. We now believe that the spell we cast to summon it inextricably bound the thing to the house. Alan went back this morning to retrieve some of our belongings and store our ritual accoutrements. He says that he heard it bumping around in the attic over his head, cursing him all the while. He said that it also told him that it only has to wait us out. When we who were present are all dead, it will roam the earth freely, slaughtering and feasting. Thankfully, the warding signs carved by Alan during better times that seem so long ago now, apparently are effective and bar the thing entry except into the attic of the farmhouse. I might be able to sleep a few hours tonight knowing that it is bound to the attic and cannot harm anyone else. I am hopeful for the first time since we stupidly released it from the amber. If it told him the truth, then we have time to seek the answer. God be with you in your search, my friend.
And the last page, not as long as the others, but last page, page 4.
October 14th, 1877. I have just discovered that Marion Allen is dead, and has been dead for some months now. He was murdered in New Orleans this past August. I suspect he spoke to the wrong sort of people about things he has seen, and they killed him. The newspaper mentions the sarcophagus, so they might have been after the gold. That is 3 of us gone now. I must do something. I've already begun ancient history classes at university, so I believe I will try to research the problem at the farmhouse in that manner. Perhaps I will uncover an ancient secret of how to rid the world of this beast in my own way. August 14th, 1877. Brutal murder at docks. New Orleans, the body of Marion Allen, late of Arkham, Massachusetts, was discovered early this morning near the Gulf and Panama docks. A victim of foul play, the man was identified by local witnesses who said that Mr. Allen had been seen in the locale the evening before. Although robbery was the apparent motive, police report that the victim had gruesome marks carved into his forehead and his tongue had been cut out. Mr. Allen had reportedly gone to the police earlier this week claiming that he was being followed and that he feared for his life. He said his shadowy pursuers were after an Egyptian artifact which he no longer possessed. Robert Mencken, March 1877. Harold Copley, August 1877. Marion Allen, August 1877. Crawford Harris, January 1910. Cecil Jones, March 1919. Rupert Merriweather.
Oh,
I'm going to take a drink now.
I don't blame you. As you read that out loud to everybody, can you all make me sanity rolls, please?
My God, it seems that Harry Sugar put some sort of fully after yeah. Sanity. Cool.
Of course. Of course.
Those of you who pass don't take any effects. Those of you who fail, it's a 1d2, please. So roll a d2 and subtract that from your sanity.
Hey, the 2 sanity lost squad.
On the plus side, there are some benefits to it. Everybody can take 1 point in Cthulhu Mythos. And everybody can get a check in the occult skill.
Nice.
So, it is over to you. How would you like to proceed?
This is certainly much more arcane than our previous experiences. I think you'll agree.
What's Jackson bloody dragging us into this time?
And what is so important that he doesn't think this warrants his attention?
I'm telling you something. It's definitely not a tea party.
I'm starting to worry here that there might be another element here as well. Was I the only one who noticed about the mysterious deaths? And okay, we've only got some definition about the couple, but the fact that they had people after them, and they mentioned the sarcophagus and all, it makes me think that there might be a hunt for that and all.
No, anything's worth having, there'll be people who want it.
I think we,
That's true, but going by the last people that were chasing us, I have wondered whether maybe we need to be a bit more wary of the average man.
we do not
Or
show
woman.
this unless we are behind a locked door.
Exactly what I was thinking, and we're just currently sat down in a cafe. And I've started pulling all this stuff out of the box. I would kind of like to take a look around us and see if anyone is actually watching us.
Make me a spot hidden, please, Denver.
Success.
You look around and nobody seems interested. You see students from the university, you see the odd professor having a sneaky drink from the university, probably Eckhart's probably recognizes a few, but nobody seems particularly interested in you or your party.
Alright, that's some good. It's just not like you're in Peru where you pretty much saw them all over the place.
I would still like to take precaution.
Oh, no. We're definitely doing that.
If you give me the box when we leave, I'll go off in a different direction. And I'll meet you guys back at the hotel in a bit. Try and shake any tails we may have that we haven't spotted.
Is there any chance I might have brought a walkie along? Another big... A walkie along.
Yeah. Yep.
In which case, I'll hand you walkie. Say, look, you get any instinct that something is coming by you. Because you are going to be taking the heat.
On.
How do I work this thing?
Right. What do you want to do?
Before we go too far, I just want to check something very quickly.
Just then I'm thinking to myself, I've made a suggestion and then realised, hang on, what time period would they have yet?
Yeah, walkie-talkies were came about, the patent was granted in 1935. This is 1923.
Okay, so...
I was thinking, I was like, that doesn't sound right, but I don't know enough about walkie-talkies to dispute it.
It's one of those things where, knowing that we had vehicles, I thought for a second there, my mind was jumping to it, but no, yeah. I'll say not quite yet. In which case, right. In which case, I'm gonna, instead, you go ahead. I'm going to go a different route, but I'm going to try and keep an eye on you. I'm going to do my best to make you look like I'm not walking with you at all. And being from a side, so if anything goes wrong or if I see anyone who looks suspicious or is taking a suspicious interest in you, I am going to be going and trying to find out as much as I can about them.
While you're checking for that, I recommend the rest of us go to the university to see if we can't pick up any of those notes on the vermin book.
Mysterious bastards. I think during that entire exchange, Eckhart has been staring at you guys like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
oh yeah, he doesn't know
like,
anything
these
about
are
this,
the ramblings of a sick old man. What are you doing?
How much did Dr. Bauer tell you about his sabbatical in Peru?
Well, the important things, I suppose. A lot of heat stroke going around, I hear.
Any chance he tell you how to use a gun?
I haven't held a firearm in a very long time, but I'm not bad in a scrap.
You sort of like just turn right to Flint. Why does no one get trained how to use a gun anymore?
That's what we have big, strong men like you for.
I'm European.
But we can only be in so many places. I mean, come on.
And right now you're going to be roaming the streets of Arkham, while we take up residence in a dusty, gun-free library. They're very big on quiet in there, you know.
I miss Loretta.
We would have thought the same about that museum that we went to on the first day in Peru.
That was Peru.
So, with that, we'll start with Flint and Denver. As you say, Flint, you gather up the box and all its contents, and you're keeping a watchful eye out as you...
Yes.
It's kind of like these... You're trying not to look suspicious, but you're looking suspicious. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And of course, like, Denver's like shadowing you from the other side of the streets, and
as soon as I get any whiff of kind of someone paying attention or following, I'm going to try and like slink off into the shadows.
I would say that you think sometimes you see someone like looking in the wrong direction, or just having to look at you too long, but nothing comes of it. They're probably just admiring you. They are just admiring your jaguar skin. It's quite unusual for Arkham, actually. But you and Denver managed to make it back to the hotel you're staying in without any incident.
Right, good. You
Professor
keep a good eye on that. I'm going to charge back over to that damn building there off to quiet my ass.
Professor
I will lock the
Eckhart,
door.
Professor Eckhart, Tim Sullivan, and Gideon Faust, you head to the university library, and the university is open for public reading at the moment. But yeah, you are shown into the reading room.
I think on the way, Eckhart is like, so why is it that you want to go get the mysterious person?
Because we're going to be visiting that house in accordance with a dying old man's last wishes, where we will be, for the good of his family, if no one else, performing certain pagan rituals to put some entirely mythical, unless I snap a photo, spirit to rest.
Nothing dangerous or illegal, we assure you.
I hadn't thought it was dangerous or illegal until you said that.
Yes, well, we're not entirely sure yet.
Well, luckily, I have a great fondness for Rupert, despite his occasional proclivities. So that's
Then you'll have
I'm happy enough to go along with this little excursion. I don't know why Jackson thought I was to come along, but who can say? The man is something of a mystery.
I imagine he knew we'd need someone who knew how to pronounce Latin.
Ha! Of course. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
In the reading room, you commence your search in the history section. Can the three of you please make me library use rolls?
Mm-hmm.
It was in the... I know it's in the restricted section, right?
Yes, but do you have an invisibility cloak to get in there?
No, but I'm faculty.
He works here.
I can just talk to the secretary, can't I?
Oh my god, I know how to use a library.
Wow.
Hey.
Wait, is it when we succeed we mark a skill, or when we fail?
Yeah, it's when you succeed you mark the skill. Yeah.
Sweet.
So we'll say that Eckhart, you wander off in search of a librarian, a handy librarian. Tim and Gideon, you don't find De Vermis Mysterious. You find a book on Egyptian history.
Mm-hmm.
And this one looks like it's been used, whereas all the other books, well, this one's still quite dusty. They're all dusty. Forget that. But you do flick through it, trying to see if anything looks familiar, anything that looks like might relate to the sarcophagus, and you do find a drawing of the sarcophagus.
Fascinating.
And nearby, you find a short description of it. It says that little is known about this sarcophagus, although scholars believe it to have been the possession of the little-known pharaoh Neferenka, a would-be usurper of the Egyptian throne who lived during the 3rd dynasty of ancient Egypt. Legend has it that the box was given to Neferenka by the gods and was said to contain jinn that could be called upon to enact some form of service. It also states that the box was later owned by the Parkenby Andersons, a British noble family. However, it was stolen in 1871 and has not been seen since. And as you look, you see like faded pencil marks on the page. It looks like box has been circled, Neferenka has been circled, and scribbled over the picture of the box. I'm cheating slightly here because I want you to see this. You see this. Tim.
Yeah.
Could you please read this out?
Seeker of wisdom, servant of Ugur Setlet, deliverer of the people of the water, bearer of the spirits of Nyarlathotep, child of Thoth, seeker of wisdom.
And you recognize some of the words like water, spirits, servant, and you realise this is the translation of the Egyptian inscription on the box.
Well, now, this is helpful.
But those don't sound Egyptian, do they?
Some of these don't. In fact, Thoth is actually the Greek version of the god's name. But then some of these words are just flat out alien. Yuger, Yoag, I can't make heads or tails of this. Nyarlathotep, I understand, but Nyarlathotep?
Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, does it?
No.
I can't imagine being called that in polite conversation, can you?
I've heard of a Sobek Hotep. There were quite a few Amen Hoteps. There was an Imhotep. But Nyarlathotep.
Is Hotep a family name? Would it just be Narloth?
No, Hotep meant to be satisfied. And paired together with another word would mean so is satisfied. Amenhotep meant Amen is satisfied. Amenhotep would mean Amen is satisfied. That Amen was a god. As was Sobek, but I'm not entirely sure about Imhotep.
Or Narloth?
Yes.
Well, maybe we can ask it in person.
Yes, some unknown god, which I'm not sure I want to know.
Can't be anything pleasant, that's for sure.
So,
let's go see how Eckhart's doing about that secretary.
Eckhart, you find a wandering librarian. You hunt down a wandering librarian and shoot it in its leg. No, you don't. Yes.
I would call Ruckus.
Professor Metz. Didn't expect to see you here this evening. Is there anything wrong? Can I help you with anything? Are you looking for a book or anything?
What's this librarian's name?
Jennifer.
I was literally thinking of the name Jennifer. Yes, Jennifer. I'm looking for a book that is in the restricted section. I'm doing some research for an old friend, and I'm looking for a specific text. I know that we have it. Can I know that you've got the keys.
I'm sorry, Professor Metz. The restricted section is under the charge of Professor Henry Armitage. He's the only one who can give permission to look in there. I'm sorry, you'll have to clear it with him first.
Oh, of course. My apologies. It's been a while since I've been in there. A couple of years. I don't have much cause for this, of course. What sort of time is it?
We're talking like evening, like 6 o'clock in the evening, 7 o'clock in the evening. So
it's be a bit late for
Oh no, I think he might be in his. He might be in his in the office right now, just down the corridor. He is staying quite late these evenings. We're quite worried about him.
Yes, that does sound like him. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. I will go and speak to Henry.
Of course, yes. Anything. Giggles and.
Okay, yeah. I will go and knock on Henry Armitage's door.
What? I said I wasn't to be disturbed. Who is it? Go away.
Sorry, Henry. It's Eckhart Met. May I?
Met? What do you want, Metz? I'm busy. I'm in the middle of something.
Well, I just sort of like speaking to a closed door. Well, I was hoping to get brief access to the restricted section. I'm doing some research.
Oh, you better come in, Metz, and close the door behind you.
Yes, sir. I'll go in and close the door behind me.
And you look, and the desk is just like covered with papers, handwritten papers. with one or two very, very thick, very, very old tomes open at various places on the desk. It looks like Armitage hasn't slept for days.
My God, Henry, what's all this?
This is research I'm doing. You haven't read the papers, haven't you? You don't know what's happening in Dunwich, do you? Never mind. Never mind. What is it? Be quick, man.
I'm doing some research. I need brief access to the restricted section just to have a look at specific text.
What book do you want to see?
The mysterious verses, the Vermis Mysteria.
The Vermis Mysterious.
That's the one.
No, I can't let anybody look at those books. That's dangerous knowledge, Mets. It's better that people don't know about it. That people don't know.
Henry, you know of anyone. I'm not going to get caught up in this occult stuff. Do I know Henry Armitage? Is he a believer, or?
You know him to be a man of science, or at least you knew him to be a man of science. But make me a psychology roll as you look at him.
That's a fail.
He's pale. His hair beard is like, he looks like he hasn't slept for days. His hair is all over the place. He looks like his eyes dart around. You can't get a read on him, but seems different than the man you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mets. That's my final word. I cannot allow anybody else into the restricted section.
Anybody else?
Oh, you don't know, do you? I'm sure you heard we had a break-in a while ago. Someone tried to steal one of the books in the restricted section.
Oh, yeah. Was it recovered?
He was killed in the attempt.
Ah, well, what's the problem then?
The books in there, they're not wholesome. They're not fit for people to read. I'm sorry, Mets. I can't allow anybody to see them.
Henry, you, as am I, are a man of science. Therefore, I'm a little confused about where this is coming from. These are books of faith, belief. They have no bearing on the world beyond our own psychology. I promise you, I'm not going to get. I'm not going to lose my mind.
He looks at you, and you see that he's not going to change his mind at all. I will say this: you don't need the Vermis Mysterious for this scenario.
Fine. I mean, either way, it's like, well, I'll try. If you're absolutely sure, you need to, you're looking a little pale. It might be good for you to go out, take some air. When was the last time you went for a nice walk?
I can't stop. I have to carry on. A lot depends on it.
You have to carry on with what?
And he's starts, please leave, please.
Okay, but I will come by tomorrow. If you look like you haven't slept and you haven't gone outside, I will be booking in an appointment, okay?
Yes, whatever, please leave me.
Okay. And I'll head out, and I will shut the door behind me quietly.
And it's probably about this time that Denver Smith, probably slightly out of breath, you hurry to the library and...
I've got to stop drumming while I'm injured. Right. Where is everyone?
Tim and Gideon are in the main floor.
To say, in the hotel, Flint has locked the hotel room door, and he's got Loretta just pointed at it.
Nice.
Go on. Sorry.
Probably about the same. That's absolutely fine. I love the image. I'll be honest. I do love the image. So Gideon and Tim have just like found their book and probably bump into Metz defeated coming from Armitage's office. And Denver, this is probably about the time that you meet up with them.
Aye, there you are. Right. So, what we found?
Oh, lots. Eckhart was just going to go and get the ancient book in question, but we found lots of information about the sarcophagus itself. And a translation. Yes, lots of stuff.
Excellent. We'll hold that till we get back to the hotel. Eckhart, your hand seems to be a bit empty there.
Unfortunately, we are not going to get access to the restricted section at this time. It's all bureaucracy, you know, and
Bureaucracy.
And the gentleman who would possibly be able to give me access is currently refusing to give me access. Just office politics.
I'm quite good at office politics. Who might this be?
Are you sure you're not referring to barroom politics?
I can be quite persuasive either way.
You're quite persuasive in ways that means people can't stand up afterwards, yes. I think I'm more suited to these kinds of delicate situations.
Alright, I tell you what. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm a fair man. If you think you can go ahead and do better, you go ahead, you do it delicate. But if it doesn't get any results, I'm going to stood right behind you waiting.
You ask me to shoot my way out through a pack of
No.
banditos, I don't know.
No, I'm not going to ask you to do that. That's what I'm there for. Like you said earlier.
With respect, Gideon, I'm a faculty member. What makes you think that you're going to be able to talk your way in? You are not even a student here.
But I am a people person.
It's true.
Okay.
I've seen him sweet talk before.
A qualification
sweet
that
indeed.
no one can study for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are different ways of studying. Right, after you, Gideon.
Which way is his office?
Just over there.
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. What was his first name again?
Henry Armitage.
Henry. Henry. I'm ready.
Armitage.
Sort of knock on the door. Henry, I have important news for you.
No answer from inside.
I'll make my own way in, and just sort of let myself into the office.
Well, who are you?
Henry Armitage, the great Henry Armitage. I've heard a lot about you from Jackson Lies. I'm Gideon Faust, photographer.
Out.
I step in and close the door.
That you want some privacy during these difficult times, but it really is very vital that we get access to that book.
Out. No. No.
Backing away.
I'm not having anything to do with Jackson Elias. Out. No.
I have photos of each people.
I have the door. I've stepped in with the door closed. We are all free in this room.
At this point, I'm outside the room looking very dejected.
Oh, you've gone outside, have you? It's all right. I'll close the door.
I imagine he's been like pushing me out of the room, so just like, yeah, okay.
Henry. Only an idiot shoves the smart people out of the room. Now, we need access, and I'm sure you know why. Otherwise you wouldn't be shoving so hard. So are we going to make this the easy way? Or are we going to do this the hard way? You don't have to tell anyone that you've given us the keys. You can see that we took it from you. I can even give you a bruise which won't hurt too much, but will make it look like it has. So what do you say, Henry? Will you give us the keys? Will you let us find what we're looking for?
He looks at you, and his eyes are going like quite wide at this man who's just like invaded his space and threatening him. No, no, I will not give up that book. I will not give. I will not give up any of the books. That knowledge is too dangerous.
Knowledge can be dangerous, especially if it gets into the wrong hands, I grant you that. But currently, as far as I understand it, it has already got into the wrong hands. And even worse hands are trying to get it again. So, Henry, I say this again. Even if it's so that you don't have to worry about it anymore, we're taking that book. Do you really want me to force this?
Make me. Ooh, that'd be intimidation. That would. Make me an intimidation roll.
No one ever wants to see my leech picks.
Success.
I think Eckhart heard that as you were like shoved out. I just kind of looked at Tim Sullivan, like, huh?
He looks at you and he sighs. The book was stolen.
Why didn't you just say that beforehand? Hey, we could have saved so much time. Right, okay, fine. Book's been stolen. Can you show us where? I want to see if there's been anything left behind that we can follow. Any traces? Anything at all. Even if you just point in the right direction where they jumped out the window or whatnot. Just show us. We can't help the fact that you've been robbed or anything like that. I'm not going to hold you against it. Just show us where it would have been. And let's take a look around. How about that?
It was. You don't know how they got in. They left no trace. It's almost like they just hid and. Please, I need to finish my work. If you find the book, by all means.
Henry, I want to see where that book was. Now take it as, when it comes down to it, is becoming now morbid curiosity. Why on earth you will not let us even take a look at where it should be positioned, let alone anything else?
That's not the only book of that kind in that section.
Then come with us and make sure we don't touch anything else. We're only interested in one damn thing. I don't care less what you got in there. And you might be able to tell that I'm not leaving until this happens. Do you understand, Henry? Either give us the keys or come down with us. I don't care which one it is.
He sighs and very well, if he'll get you out of here all the quicker. And he opens up his drawer and pulls out this big set of iron keys, and there's other charms on there as well. There's what looks like a branch with some leaves coming from it. There's a star on there with some sort of eye in the middle of it. On your own head be it. And
Thank you for your cooperation.
And he leads you, and anybody else who wishes to come with you.
Most assuredly.
Yes.
Yes.
You seem to know this place better than you do. Best come along.
And he leads you down through a darkened part of the library, down some steps to this huge steel door. Almost like a bank vault type of door. Several locks on it, and he opens the locks with a key. You can hear it creaking open, that no one comes in here very often. And he stops and he just lights it. He just takes a lantern, and it's this big dark area. There's very little light in there. You just feel the weight of all these ancient books all around you. He leads you through these shelves. You see dust coming up from your feet as you walk, and he leads you to almost like a plinth or a glass case. You see several of them dotted around, but this one particular, this one's empty. You can see like where the dust has gathered on the empty plinth. It was here. This is where it was.
Did anyone walk up to that plinth afterwards? Has it been spotted, or has there been any chance that perhaps it hasn't been so disturbed in the dirt, in the dust, going up to it that we might have something to follow? Or have you and your lot been running round? When it came down to you, notice it being missing.
I am the only one who has the key to this
All right.
part of the building.
Did you go up to the plinth afterwards? You
When
saw
I
it was
saw-
missing.
I saw it was missing. I went to the plinth, but there was the dust around it was undisturbed.
Right, okay.
It's almost as if something materialized in here and took it.
I would like to take a good long look around, being very careful to try and find anything that does not seem like it should be there, or anything which is out of place.
Crime
Make
scene
me a-
photography.
Crime scene photography, yes. Make me a spot hidden roll. Both of you make. In fact, everybody in there make me a spot hidden roll. That's everybody except Flint, because Flint is still guarding the door.
I put all
Okay.
the photography. I can make me use my regular human meat eyes.
Give me 2 secs. I'm going to feed the cat. I'll still be able to hear.
Oh,
My God.
Well, this didn't turn out too good.
I rolled less than 90 so far.
oh, that's
I
a fumble
didn't
as
roll
well.
out of the library use.
That's a fumble. That's a fumble, Gideon, as well.
Oh, good.
Oh, right.
Oh, you passed, Tim.
Oh, thank God. We've got Tim here.
Gideon trips over some part of shelving, and it's like the sound like echoes throughout the library. And Armage just like slaps his head around it and glares at you. Shh.
Well, I'm going to show you my photos now.
Tim, you're looking around like everybody else looking around. You don't see anything like Professor Armitage said. The dust in here has been undisturbed. You don't see any footprints leading from. You don't see any handprints on the shelves. It is as if someone just appeared in here and took it and then disappeared again. Are you satisfied now? Armitage says to you. Are you satisfied now?
Okay. Fucker, Flint. And I'll start sprinting right now. It thinks we can get in and out without worrying about bleeding doors. I just bolted.
Is everybody else
So much
following him?
energy, that one.
He has, yes. Is anybody else following him?
No.
Yes.
Let's walk. at a more reasonable pace. Start heading back rather dejectedly to the hotel room.
Henry, did you report this to the police?
I tried, but you know what the police around here are like.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. I'm sure half of them are in the pay with the mob anyway.
That they are. Well, I'm a little busy with the maniac, but this would be an interesting little mystery. I'm sure we can come to the bottom of this at some point. And Henry, take care of yourself. Leave the library. There is a world out there.
Just makes his way back to his office and slams the door shut and locks it. The journey back to the hotel is somewhat energetic. Demi, you arrive in a bit of a puff, but you barge through the door, or do you just like?
No. I ain't that dumb.
No, we've
I
learned.
know who I've left in charge. There's a reason why I left him there.
We've learned maybe 2 lessons from Peru, and one of them is be careful when you open doors.
And it was literally one of those bits of, I know what he's most likely doing out there.
Of
And
course.
basically, I'm going to be stood to the side of the door and making a call out. Flint, can you hear me?
You hear a grunt.
Aye. It's me. I'm gonna open the door slow now, so you can see for your own eyes. Aye?
You hear a grunt, and you hear the click of the safety going off.
Aye. Here I come. Slowly twist the handle, slowly open the door. Hands up.
Once
Satisfied?
Flint gets visual confirmation, you see him visibly relax a little bit.
Well,
And he's like, get in quick.
that's something. Get in and close the door. Look, I have absolutely no idea what we're going against, but there is a chance. But whatever these things, it might be another of these supernatural things.
I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
We need to be ready. We need to be ready because they might be able to come through without doors or windows, not even touching the floor by the seam of things. I don't know what on earth they are. Hopefully the smart bots would have figured that one out by the time they get back. But we need to be on guard and looking from all angles, because if they are after the book, which they've already stolen, there's a chance they might be after, well, they might be after this thing. Either that or they're already on their way to that farmhouse.
Flint immediately trying to listen out for anything that sounds unusual or out of place.
Aye.
Okay, I won't make you roll for this. You don't really hear anything. Just sounds like a normal city to you.
What would something passing through the floor sound like anyway?
Well, you might get something beforehand, like a little fizzle of a spell or whatever. I mean,
Or a menacing guitar sting?
It depends on whether it's supposed to go through it or not. I mean, you might get a scream if you weren't expecting it.
very well. I know we're in a city, and goddamn, I hate these things. I think we share the watches like old days.
Sounds like a plan to me. Hopefully, they're looking out the window and just think, I didn't run off that fast. What the devil are the rest of them?
What else did you find out?
Well, apparently they've got a bit more information on it. I didn't stop long enough to find out. The director there was trying to hold back some information from us. So of course we got that one out of him. But it turned out that the book which we were looking for, that De Vimeus the Mysteri, that has gone missing. Someone came in and stole it. But they stole it in a dust-filled area without leaving a single footprint. Without making any sign of how they've gained entry, not touched the floor, taken the item, and disappeared. That spooks the life out of me, so I got out there before I found out any more information than anything else. So if it's like last time, they'll be coming for that.
I'm gonna kill
Point into the box.
I'm gonna kill Jackson Elias next time I see him, dragging us into another mess.
Well, he could have at least been here for this one.
Aye. Right, I suppose we'd better wait for the others.
Aye.
And he goes back to guarding the door.
I do the same just from the window this time.
After
Keep an
probably
eye for anything.
after about 20 minutes or so, the others, the rest of the party do turn up. Somewhat more sedate pace than Denver's bolt through the streets.
Right. Be ready, Flynn. Try not to shoot him.
I make no promises.
That's my man.
Just in a stretch, been redeemed.
Yeah. I was feeling stiff.
There we go. Good idea.
Good choice.
So, the night passes uneventfully. I imagine Flint kicks Denver awake and just
Of
like
course.
old times.
In the head, as always.
I've got to stop taking second watch. Jeez.
The next day dawns. This is the 3rd of August. What are your plans for today? You've exhausted all the avenues of investigation here, pretty much. Oh no, there's one thing you haven't followed up yet though. You want to spend some time doing that?
All right, smart ones. Gideon,
What
I can
tell? We would need the translations done by the recently deceased Ms. Flipping through diary pages. Was it Mariam?
Marin Allen, it's a man's name.
Ah, Mariam.
I did not know that was a unisex name.
I didn't know that either until I read this.
It's an old name.
If you wish to, you can try and find out some more about his death.
I think that would be a good idea because that's the bit of the book that we actually need.
Might I make a suggestion as well? Unless you already have this information, which is a chance. There's a chance. But, would there be any way that we could find out about mythological creatures which might be able to magically enter and leave places without a single trace?
Yeah.
We've come across some of these odd creatures before, and there's a good chance that we might have just come across another one now.
There's always ghosts, vampires, Santa Claus.
Yes, but for some reason I don't think Jolly Red's doing this one.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Isn't he
Yeah,
the one who
there.
takes the presents from Christmas?
Marion
sure?
Allen was killed in New Orleans. I don't know how you're hoping to get more information about that.
Are you sure you're not confusing Santa Claus with Krampus?
Is it possible that his effects were still in this city, maybe? Maybe his relatives here that have some of his old notes?
There's got to be something around here. Right.
It's
I think you're kind of right when it comes down to it. We should probably, once again, split, take a look for information wherever we might be able to find it. Whatever ammo we can have against whatever this thing is.
Flint, make me an idea roll, please.
An idea, is that just
I
intelligence?
Could just put points in an
Intelligence,
idea
it's intelligence.
skill?
Intelligence
It's
is the name for it. It's a skill for it, but it's called an idea roll.
Fair enough.
All this
Oh,
talk
wow.
about
Nice.
talk about the Vermis Mysterious and where it could be. It sparks some memory. The letter that was at the top of the box.
Top of the box. Hang on, let me just find that again. The letter from Merriweather, is that it?
Did he say that there was a copy of the book still in the chat? Or am I making that up?
Oh, the translations are still at the house.
Yes.
Right.
The elf is gone, but the notes on the translation is still there. Oh, that's perfect. Then we can just let's go invade some private
Yes,
property.
let's find out more
Yeah.
about this. Marion Blokey.
I don't know. Like, he died 40, like, nearly 50 years ago? Am I getting that right? 1923.
We can be confident at least that he stopped smelling.
Yeah, he died 46 years ago. I don't know how useful it's going to be.
Look, Nets, you're a newcomer to this group. We've all worked together. You know. And yes, you are valued, but we have experience. You're going to find little bits of information where you don't expect it.
I mean, to be fair, this is the first time we have done this one other time. That is not the hugest amount of experience, all things considered. I would not put that on my mystery hunter CV.
Any experience is better than no experience, my friend.
You're not getting one of my Jaguar pelts.
That might be the cruelest thing anyone has ever said to me.
Well, the day's still early. We'll see how things carry on.
So if you want to look into Marion Allen's death, you can either try and visit the police station or visit the local newspaper.
Let's super quick see if they've got an obituary or anything there, and if not, let's go to the farmhouse. By then it'll be noon, which is the least spooky time to do an exorcism. We'll be fine.
That was a good point.
So where
I
are
don't
you
know
heading?
when you'll be able to see everything.
Where are you heading to? Sorry.
Newspaper place. What
Okay.
would it be called?
The Arkham Advertiser. This is.
There we go.
You enter, and Gideon, you can charm your way past the receptionist
I would love to.
up to the editor. You pass through like this room. It's like typing, just like massive typing everywhere, to an office at the far end. It's like full of smoke. Someone's like editor, like big fella, like with a cigar. I can't remember what his name. I don't think I gave him a name last time. But he says,
Mr. Jameson.
yeah, Mr. Jameson. We'll go with that, Mr. Jameson. Yes. What is it?
Sorry.
Yes. Time is money. I've got the evening edition. I've got the evening edition to set up. Yes. What do you want?
Gideon Faust, a photography pioneer. I was hoping to get access to your archives for the purposes of research.
Archives. What do you want to find out down there?
Oh, I'm afraid I'm going to have to keep my things a little bit close to my chest. I was looking into the death of an academic around these parts. I was hoping to write some small piece that I'm certain I could credit you in.
Thinks about. You say you're a photographer.
A pioneer in the field, sir.
You get me some good photos, and I'll let you see the archive.
Just name the subject.
Spider-Man.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, so somebody crawling across a building. How? No, that's ridiculous. That could never happen.
It's a foolish idea.
You find something unusual. You find something unusual, and if it's good, I'll buy it from you. And if it's good, we'll have a.
I can absolutely facilitate that, sir.
And they got to be good. They got to be good. Where's my There's. They got to be good quality photos. I don't want anything fake. They got to be clear and distinct. Understand?
Oh, I'll do my very best, sir.
Right. Madeline,
Confidence draining away.
Madeline, get in here. The receptionist from below downstairs comes in. Yes, sir. Take this man and his friends down to the archives. They want to look up some information. Remember what I said? Good, clear photos.
Just you wait.
And and Madeline, the receptionist, leads you all down to the archives, or the morgue as they call it. It's like this musty. You can smell like musty paper, ink. Yes, we're here. And what are you looking for exactly?
Obituaries. Going back some 40 years.
Anything in particular? Do you have a year? There's a lot of here.
It would have been... Oh, what was the exact year of his death?
1877, August.
Yes, 1877.
77. And she looks through the box, and she gets this box of clippings and files and papers. 1877. And looks through. Goes, I've got some police reports from 1877. Would that be what you're looking for?
Oh. Anything about a carriage crash?
No. Why don't you have a look yourself? And she hands across some police reports to you, Gideon.
Thank you so very much. New Orleans Police Department statement of Corman Howard, patrol officer, entered Tuesday, August 14th, 1877. I was on my assigned route through the docks and warehouse quarter, nearing the Gulf and Panama docks at 5:47 a.m., when I saw a sign of a person lying among some shipping crates. I first thought that it was a vagrant asleep. As I moved closer to rouse the subject, I then saw bloodstains. On closer inspection, the victim was dead, lying on his back, arms splayed. His chest was opened up, with the full contents visible, ribs opened. The head was thrown back, mouth open. Since there was obviously nothing I could do to help the victim, I hurried to the nearest adjacent beach, where I knew I could find Officer Wood. I told him what I found and instructed him to get assistance. I would go back and secure the crime scene. When I got back, some dock workers had gathered around, and one was endeavoring to go through the victim's pockets. I stopped him and had the men move away from the body. I then inspected the man to make sure nothing was taken, and this time it was light enough to see details more clearly, and I saw the mark on the victim's forehead. It was a symbol of unknown origin carved into his skin as if with a sharp penknife or similar weapon. I found a tarpaulin nearby, which I carefully laid across the victim until the detectives could arrive on the scene. Follows statement of Warren Harold, detective, entered that same Tuesday. I was assigned to the case and immediately went to the scene to gather information. Officer Coleman was present, keeping the dock workers back from the scene. He informed me that while he was getting assistance, one of the workers had started to rifle through the victim's pockets. He said he had searched the man, but it appears no items were stolen. I found the victim's wallet still in his jacket pocket, identifying him as Marion Marcus Allen of Arkham, Massachusetts. No money was found in the wallet or anywhere else about him. The victim's head had characters carved into it, bone was visible. The mouth was opened, and could see no sign of tongue, which looked to have been severed and removed. The man's ribcage had been torn open, and organs had been cut or mutilated in some manner. I request that the medical examiner verify the placement and count of all internal organs. There were some footprints around the body, all on the side facing the opening, the pile of crates. There was some blood dried on the body and ground, but not enough to fit with the wounds. I surmise that the killing happened elsewhere, and the body was placed at the docks afterward.
And there's also a report from the medical examiner. Same again, Patrick?
Absolutely just blow my nose. Office of the Medical Examiner for the State of Louisiana, City of New Orleans. Report by Dr. Wilbur Lawrence. The victim, Marion Marcus Allen, had been killed by a single powerful blade thrust to the bottom of the ribcage, cutting upwards as to separate the ribs from the breastbone. Hands were then used to pry the ribcage apart. The tongue was cut out, likely while the victim was dying. There was a symbol of unknown origin carved into the skin of the forehead. Cuts were deep enough to etch the symbol into the skull. Victim's liver and heart were missing. Both organs were removed with a sharp blade, though the procedure was crude. Police corroborate that no evidence of the missing organs was found at the scene. Abrasions and bruises to the wrists and legs indicate that the victim was tied up and beaten before death.
And Madeline says, is that what you're looking for?
No, but it... Well, I suppose yes, this must be it. Yes, this will be very valuable. Thank you very much.
And she just, like, without a further word, she, like, leads you out the morgue and you find yourself dumped back out on the street.
Can I think of any...
That was the newspaper, wasn't it?
Can I think of any, in my occult studies, anything that lines up with this? Have I heard of killings like that before? Or...
Yes, I'm going to have to ask for a hard roll.
Okay. That's a hard
Okay, never mind. You've heard of something similar in cults based in Africa.
Okay.
Similar sort of mutilation of the body, especially involving the tongue and...
Be North Africa? Of an Egyptological nature?
Not Egypt, no.
Yeah.
You've not heard it in connection with Egypt.
Okay.
If you had to hazard a guess, from what you remember, it's a hard success. You think more like Kenya?
Yeah, it reminds me vaguely of sort of Eastern African practices. Kenya, that part of the world.
Huh. He must have caused some quite broad offence.
Yes, well, in New Orleans you get a lot of these sort of people continue to worship African gods and so on.
I'm certain Kenya has come up before.
I can, as a keeper, I can say that the characters don't know about Kenya, but this is some of the information I gave you at the end of the last session as players, but your characters don't know.
Yeah.
No,
This is why I never listen when you tell me things out of character. I don't want to know.
never mind then.
Right. Don't know about you, but I want to go to that police station.
Why?
I kind of want to know what those symbols look like.
That does sound like a good plan.
My dear friend Denver, I very much fear that if you ever set foot inside a police station, you will never leave it.
Faust,
I
as
have you
well.
know that I'm rather well liked in those establishments. Something about
Yes,
keeping
I
law and
agree.
order.
Faust, as well, when you go take the pictures to this Jameson bloke, take me with you. You might need some convincing.
You take
Oh,
the
I
photos
assure you,
first.
My word speaks for themselves.
I'm sure it does, but at the same time, we all know that you got poo-pooed on by other professionals in your field.
Those were starched academics. This is a working man with a much more open and practical mind.
I'd still like to be there.
If only so you can snigger, no doubt.
No, I was willing to back you up, but now I might snigger.
Well, either way, I'll be glad of your company.
Give me a moment. So you head to the police station, and Sergeant Bryce, I think probably Metz might recognise him. Just like he does some patrols. Like the university is on his beat, but tonight he's on the desk, and he looks up and goes, "You're one of them university bods, aren't you? No students here, are there? What do you want?"
I graduated.
Just like looks at you like a bit oddly.
Takes a step
Look.
back.
You don't seem convinced, mister.
Looks at you and it's like eyes kind of like taken aback a bit at the hood you're wearing. Goes, well, what have we here then? What do you want? Have
My
I
friend
got to...
just wants some information.
Uh,
Do your job and give it to him.
Oh, for God's sake, will you stop intimidating the person trying to... He's just doing his job. What you got against people doing... You'll have to excuse me, friend. Hasn't really got too many good manners by the scenes of things.
At which point, Flint wipes his arm across his nose and kind of spits on the floor.
He's a good soul when you get him a few drinks in him, though, I'll tell you that much. Anyway, what he was trying to not so kindly ask is we were wondering if we might be able to get some information on a particular event that happened August 14th, 1877.
that seems a bit long time ago. Can I ask what you want to know this for?
Well, we have the experience dealing with some kind of cult-like activities in the past and have been called on suspicion of things which might be happening around now. We're more doing little investigations, trying to find out bits and pieces, and we have a half an inkling that it might be involved. We read the police reports. Apparently there were some symbols that were carved into the victim's head, and it's caught our curiosity. We can't help but believe that maybe it happens to have some kind of cult activity there, and if so, it's a part of his history, and we'd like to, we'd like to have that on our information before we carry on forth.
As you're saying this, can everybody else make me psychology rolls, please?
Mm-hmm.
Going to see how battered Denver's brain really is. Oh wow!
Oh dear, crumbs. Gideon, you're just like, what?
Oh dear God!
You can spend a point. You can spend luck on that. If you want to, you can spend luck to pass it. Don't forget.
I do not have 75 luck.
Tim,
No,
I, however, will spend 5 luck to make mine a success.
Okay.
I forgot luck existed.
At what point do I start taking sanity rolls from rolling all these failures?
Yeah, I'll use 1 luck.
Professor Metz and Tim Sullivan, you look at the sergeant. You look at the sergeant as Denver is spouting all this. He's looking at Denver like Denver's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit. Eckhart's doing the same.
I see, sir. And have you told anybody else about this theory of yours?
Well, we've been brought around and we've been investigating over at the library to see if we can find any particular informations. As you do, obviously you go for the people who are the most wise. But as for the sake of the actual culty side of things, not so much yet. We're still in the early days of this investigation and we're trying to come across with anything that might seem along those lines. We've heard of some mysterious deaths that seem to happen around the same time, and we're rather concerned that they seem to be all connected along the same sort of line. I mean, I've come from wars and such like that before, and I believe that when it comes down to it, it's far better to get on top of these sort of things and nip them in the bud. These cultists, they can be rather uncouth. They go against the law. They do whatever they like. And it usually means that they go around slaughtering so many. And you hear about them capturing so many innocent people, convincing them over to their ways, torturing them, killing them.
Again, he's looking like he's about to call for backup.
Look,
Is anybody else? Would
would
anybody else like to chip in at this point before things get any worse? Oh, actually, no. Denver, make me a persuade roll. Actually, while you're at it,
I would love to help, but apparently I'm just staring into the middle distance.
Oh dear God, this is not going to be good.
I just want to see how bad it goes. He's not gonna bang you up in the cells, but he's looking like he's going to try and forcibly eject you from the station. Unless anybody else wants to say anything, add to.
I'd love to, but alas.
You can. I can say you can. You can. Yep.
Okay, sure, fine. Officer, my friend here, he's gotten quite deep into this specific subject matter of research. You know how these older academic types can get. All we're looking for is access to information that is already publicly available. Just a quick perusal of your records on 1 or 2 cases. We won't bother you or the general running of the station. We'll be in and out in maybe 2 hours, and we'll say no more about this. How about that?
Make me your choice: persuasion or charm.
I'm stupid good at both of those, so I'll pick charm, just so it has the smallest margin of error.
Nice, hard. That's it.
Wow.
That's what you want. That's what you want. That's what you want.
This probably just telling him, what do you mean, older academic?
You got an extreme on the first one as well. I'll take the first one. He looks at you and he's like, he nods. He's like, pleased to see someone saying a bit of reason. He goes, well, if what you say is true and it's public knowledge, I don't see any harm. Do you have any details? What it exactly is that you're looking for?
The specific details are of a case that didn't actually take part in this jurisdiction. It is a police report from New Orleans. We were hoping that there are a few details that were available that weren't present in the report that was lodged with the that was published in the paper here. It was in 1877.
77.
August 1877.
August 14th. Tuesday, August 14th, 1877. Take that from an old academic.
You see,
It kind of like side glances at
about these things.
Side glances at Denver and wait here, please, sir. And he like leaves through the door back into the station, and another policeman comes out. He doesn't say anything. He just like looks at you, just like so that he's manning the desk. After about say half an hour of this uncomfortable, awkward silence, Sergeant Bryce comes back with a manila folder. He opens it up. Police report. It was quite a grisly case. This was. And he like shows it to you, and you see the police reports, the same police reports you saw, copies of the police reports you saw at the newspaper morgue. But you also see this.
Ah, that's perfect.
That's what I was talking about. That's what we wanted to see.
No need to be quite so enthusiastic, Professor.
Can I roll to see if I know what it is?
Yeah, make me an occult roll.
Is it definitely occult?
It
Do you
looks
wanna
pretty
try
occult to me.
Do you
Yeah,
want to
I
try?
just
I feel like I've only
would you
rolled
like to try
occult in this
Cthulhu
game.
Mythos?
I'm like, I can bust out theology.
Do you like to try Cthulhu Mythos?
Regular success. I will spend luck if a hard success would make it better.
Actually, anybody who has Cthulhu Mythos can just try it, just to see if they get it.
Oh, you know what? I've got 2 points. It's worth the try.
Why did I try when I had 1 point?
Listen, that 1 point in 100 sometimes crops up.
Sadly not. Professor Metz, do you recognise this? This does tie up with what you realised before about this ancient African cult. This was a symbol that was associated with some of them.
Mm-hmm.
You get a name, comes into your mind. The Bloody Tongue.
As I suspected, this seems to be the work of the Bloody Tongue. What
The what?
an auspicious use of 45 minutes of our time.
Excellent. Now we have a name to put to our studies. Thank you so much, officer. You've greatly saved us time and effort. I'll be certain to make a note of this in my report to the dean, and I bid you a good day.
They say that.
There you go.
They say that there are many predators in the world, and very dangerous beasts. I fear man may be one of them.
If that
That's what
wasn't
we're
the
here
bloody
for, sir,
ominous
to keep the
shit that was
peace.
ever
Now,
said in the
my-
police station.
That's what we're here for, sir, to keep the peace.
He's
Now,
one of
bye-bye,
them.
you
There's
go.
no need to fear about it. Aye, aye, aye. Thanks a lot, officer. And just up and go.
It is coming up to noon, so if there's anything further you wish to do here, or do you wish to start making your way out to Ross's Corners?
I'll give
check that
Gideon
out.
a smack round the back of the head. Eat shit, bleeding.
Listen, at a certain point, people are more likely to believe civility than genuine interest.
Why did you have to go ahead tell them I'm one of the bleeding elders?
What?
I ain't that old.
This is a university town, and I promise you, being an elderly academic excuses almost all social faux pas.
You've probably got more than I do, Denver.
Ugh.
So,
I think from what you told me of the interrogation earlier, I would have been the bad cop and you would have been the good cop.
God, you try and do things civilly around there. You would have funny, man. He's just mumbling to himself.
What matters
Would you like
is
to-
we know something horribly grisly.
would you like to do any like shopping for supplies before you head out? Like anything you think you might need?
One
Like,
could definitely be stocking up on ammunition.
See there.
Mm-hmm.
How rural's this place we're going?
It's a farmhouse, basically.
Yeah, he would be making sure Loretta was in tip-top condition.
As far as we're aware
Loretta
about this,
would be working too.
in regards to knowing this place, do we know if it's is it a farmhouse which is out in the distance, or is it a farmhouse which is close to society to a degree?
Information you have, Ross's Corners is a small village a few miles west of Arkham. Boone Road, where the farmhouse is like a couple of miles further on from that. So you're not that
I'll
far
be
away.
right back, guys.
Couple of miles away.
Couple of miles. That's
Yeah.
good enough. Right. In which
Now,
case, I'll be looking into getting ammunition and potentially. Is there any chance I might be able to come across some form of explosive?
Make me a luck roll, please, Denver Smith.
I mean, this is America. Maybe they just sell them at the corner shop.
Apparently no.
Sadly, not here.
Well, ammo will have to do.
Now,
Eckhart is going to. I imagine he probably has like a working relationship with the local like hippie store, and he will buy some like sage and incense and a reliable lighter. Not because he believes in any of this nonsense, but because he's following the wishes of a sick old man, and he is reasonably compassionate.
okay. Last point of order before we're gonna wind this session down. We are going to continue this because I'm loving this and I think we're really getting stuck into it. How would you get to Ross's Corners? Would you travel by car, by bus? Whose car would you travel in? Does anybody have a car?
2 cars. I almost certainly own a car.
I also probably own a car.
For the sake that I'm from other side, I probably got something which I would probably either rent or something like that. I don't hold on to my own vehicles for too long. I like to change them out.
We could take 2 cars,
Okay.
and if something happens to one of them.
Flint seems like the kind of guy who just emerged from the undergrowth and entered town.
And so, as our investigators load into 2 cars, drive out of Arkham towards Ross's Corners, the farmhouse, and who knows what, that's where we're going to leave our session for this evening.
Aye.
And as usual, we'll go around and find out our stars and wishes from this evening, and we'll start with Kieran.
Okay. A star. I did enjoy the varying levels of success that we had with Henry Armitage. That was fun. And a wish. I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting in the next one to see how Eckhart sort of reacts to the way things are likely to go. I'm very curious to see how that turns out.
Robin.
I really liked Denver's intimidation of the guy. I think Ben's got a really good intimidation voice. Having said that, I do think that if Flint had been there too, Denver would have been the good cop.
Maybe we can try that one out next time.
Wishes, I don't know. Oh god, that's a hard one. More. I think is probably the best I can come up with.
Brian.
To start with, finally being able to put my knowledge of Egyptian history to use.
I did enjoy that. That
Really
fits so well with your character. That was just amazing. That whole thing was amazing.
That was genuinely super interesting. It actually made it way, way cooler.
Yeah.
Yes, Edward Beatty, he might be an Egyptologist too, but with Tim Sullivan, the knowledge has finally come out.
That was really good. Actually, that was really cool. I did enjoy that so much. Any wishes?
To know what the hell is going on with that anachronism. Third Dynasty, Middle Kingdom, what the hell?
I think it's just like the way they wrote it. The way they wrote it in the book. I wouldn't read too much into that, unless something else is going on behind the scenes.
Time travel.
Ben.
Yeah, it's already been said, but the intimidation scene was brilliant. I like that. But as well as getting into a lot of different roleplay with everyone. As always, my favorite interaction is always being able to do as much of that as possible. For the sake of wishes, I just wish that I had more stats and better points. But, that'll come.
That'll come. hopefully that'll come. And Patrick.
Stars, I especially enjoyed the highs and lows of catastrophically failing and extremely succeeding to be persuasive and charming. I haven't been able to speak English for the first part of this campaign, so I'm very excited to actually be able to use the two highest skills on my character sheet.
Brilliant.
For wishes, I think on the way to the house next session, I'd love to be able to have a quick chat with just sort of up. While it's very nice, going along with these eccentricities, maybe he should prepare himself emotionally and pack a vomit bag or something.
I very much look forward to that discussion.
For myself, I enjoyed the scene in the police station. With Denver, it's like going on and on and on, sounding more and more and more like a raving lunatic, and Patrick just saying, "Yeah, he's like a professor at the university. Don't mind him." That was amazing. Wishes. Not a whole lot really for this one because I say this is normally timed to be like a 1 to 2 session. Like it can be a one shot, but you guys really got stuck into the whole investigation side of it. You uncovered all the information up to this point. You uncovered all the information. I just really want to see what happens next time. I mean, I know the story of what happens next time, but I want to see what you guys do next time and how you react to what happens next time. I'm so looking forward to that.
It's going to be great.
Mm-hmm. It'll be a laugh.
Keep an eye out for when that next one will be. I'm hoping before the end of the month. I think we have a date in mind, possibly 23rd of August, I think we said. So, fingers crossed, we'll be able to finish it then. We'll see we'll continue this journey next time.